Hey guys, Michelle here, or Emily Morhaime, as you guys have seen on my book Canvas Hearts. I'm going to just kind of read a really short excerpt today of a part of the story, but first, before I get into that, there were a couple of questions that Heather asked me to answer for you guys. And the first one is she's wondering, how do I go about creating character names? Short answer, I don't actually know. I don't really have a specific method for it. I kind of have a list of names that I really like here and there that I sometimes go through to find it. Sometimes I grab a few names, write them down on a piece of paper, and stick them in a cup, and then just draw until I find the one that feels right. A lot of times it has to, like, something about it has to fit the character in my mind. So I guess specifically for Finley, I wish I could remember how I came up with her name. I think it just kind of was a thing. Yes, it is spelled the same spelling as my middle name for the Leigh part, but I don't think I mentally was connecting those two. Yes, there's parts of me that I can see in Finley, but I don't think it was really intentional. I think it was just kind of an accident on my behalf. But it worked out because I really like her name. The other question was asking if do I know my endings, or do they develop as I write my books? And for the most part, because I'm a painter, I don't know the exact details as to everything that's going to happen. Sometimes I have a vague idea, but more often than not, my characters like to take me for a roller coaster ride. For Finley, for Canvas Hearts, I honestly really didn't know exactly how it was going to end. I didn't know where it was going to take me on the journey of, is it more women's fiction, more romance? Is it somehow in the middle? Was it going to be something that could fall under romance? Because romance is very strict about that it has to have a happily ever after or a happy finale. And so I really they told me their story. They told me their own ending. And it wasn't what I was expecting, but it felt right to me. It felt completed at that point, at least for the story so far. But anywho, so the part that I'm gonna read today as an excerpt is a pretty short part. I just really kind of want to read the monologue part of the conversation that Finley has with her dad one day. And I never had a conversation exactly like this, but I think in a way it was almost more so me speaking to myself when I had, Finley's dad speaking to her about everything. And so it starts on page 52 if you're reading from the paperback. I'm not sure where it is on the ebook, but it is chapter 5, so it's still pretty early on in the story. So it starts with, quote, Finley, why do you beat yourself up for wanting to still do your art? What? Finley's mouth dropped open, unsure of what to say. And this is the monologue of her dad. Do you remember all those years ago when I first caught you in my studio painting away? Finley let out a small laugh. Do you think that was the first time I caught you painting? Finley started to nod, but she stopped. I knew you'd been doing it. I caught on almost right away, but I wanted to see who you were going to be as an artist before joining in. I wanted to let you grow into it, find yourself in it. Then I wanted it to be our thing. And it was. Some of the best days I've had have been painting with you. He smiled down at Finley and gently rested his hand on her shoulder. But Finn, the day you put down that brush, he sighed and looked off. When his eyes met hers again, she saw nothing but pain. That broke my heart even more than you know. I didn't want you to stop painting, ever. But I didn't know how to tell you because you'd already made up your mind. You thought you were protecting me because I couldn't paint anymore. But Finn, I wanted you to keep painting, not just for you, but for me too. I wanted to live through you. You and I, our art is nearly one and the same. I saw that before you and I ever started painting together, and I thought if you kept painting, it would be like I was still painting too. But you stopped, and I couldn't tell you how to start again. No, I had to let you find your way back to it again. He took a deep breath before continuing. And you did. And God, Finn, not in any way I ever wanted you to, but you did. So please, stop hiding your art from me. Please, let me see. Let me in. Stop hiding it in the closet. It doesn't deserve to be there, and neither do you. Understand? Somewhere, he'd grown stern in his words, and all Finley could do was nod. Good. Now your mom made lemon meringue pie. Let's go pretend we love it as much as your crazy brother does. He smiled, wiped away the tear that Finley hadn't even realized fell, and pulled her into a side hug as they made their way back in. That's all I really wanted to read from it. It's really hard for me to kind of pick out pieces and everything, but that one, when I was writing it, it hit me on multiple levels, partially because I could feel what she was feeling, feel what he was feeling, but also because, for a long time I felt maybe a little bit like her, with some different things. And I think that this was kind of, a lot of times my writing is therapy for me, so yeah, there we go. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the book, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.